It's the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold. Welcome inside PNC Arena, where the Hurricanes finished off the New Jersey Devils tonight, at least in game 2, by a 6-1 score. Pretty thorough performance by the Carolina Hurricanes. If I don't say so myself, we are brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. Free no obligation estimate there. And of course, what you get is the best customer service in the industry. I mean, there's nothing wrong with great customer service, right? I try to provide you with great customer service here on the Canes Corner podcast. We take our cues from Sammy Hanna and his crew. All right. Well, since it is late, and I appreciate your time, by the way. And before we even get cranked up here, I guess I owe you guys a thank you. Obviously, this has become, I don't know if this is the most popular way that people are consuming this podcast. The downloads are still very good. But what I would like you to do, if you don't mind, if you're here and you haven't already, there is a subscribe button. So use it. Subscribe to the subscribe button. And this way, I mean, I don't have to tell you that it's coming. You'll know it's coming because technology works in mysterious ways. So use that, smash it, caress it. I'd prefer you to caress it, especially as late as it is. And the same thing with the podcast. Follow it wherever you get your podcast. Then it shows up automatically. And I appreciate all of you kind of hanging out with it. So tonight was good. And I'm never amazed by what this team is able to do. And I also don't think we should get too carried away over a win at home. It's late. I've been up since 4:30 today. So I apologize if my thoughts are trying all to rush out at the same time. But I want to briefly just go back to the aftermath, pardon the plug for the postgame show, of the first win in the series, which was 5-1 Carolina. I thought there weren't supposed to be goals scored. So we were this close to getting over 7.5 goals, this close. I thought it was that the Devils were tired, emotionally spent from their series against the Rangers. And today was going to be different because, well, they were just not emotionally tired anymore. They're either still emotionally tired or, as I suspect, none of it matters. I mean, just none of it matters. Sometimes one team plays better than the other, and that's what the Hurricanes have done twice. On Sunday, starting at 3:30, or actually 3:40 by the time they drop the puck, the Devils could do exactly the same thing to the Hurricanes. Will Carolina be emotionally tired? No, of course not. We're always looking. Look, if the Devils had played like a double overtime game with the Rangers, they had it on lock. The Rangers didn't have any response to the Devils in their game on Monday night. None. So all New Jersey has done is lost 2 games on the road that they were underdogs in twice. That's it. Were they just barely slight underdogs? But I told you, I liked Carolina plus money, by the way, before the series started. You put Carolina in an underdog situation? Talk to Greg Wyshynski about that. He's like, all of a sudden, the Devils are the hunted. Even though the Hurricanes had the top seed, I think everybody looks at the rosters and go, and I was talking to Chico Resch about this today. It's my flex. I love Chico Resch. And he was looking at the 2 rosters. He goes, Devils should win this series. Just looking at the 2 rosters. But here is why, and I've been not necessarily confident that the Hurricanes would win, but confident that this team was still good enough even without the personnel losses of Teravainen and Svechnikov, Pacioretty, that they were still good enough to win. And it's simply because of how they approach the game. And when they play like they did tonight, apart from a couple of mistakes and this Shane Gostisbehere turnover, which led to the only goal for the Devils, when the Hurricanes play the right way, the way they are trained to play, I didn't mean to talk about them like a puppy, but this is how they play. There is a certain way that they go about their business. It generates possession. It generates chances. It keeps the puck away from the other team who might have better skill players. It minimizes your need to have an Andrei Vasilevsky as your goalie, although we'll get to the goalie in a minute. It's all about increasing your own chances of winning. And they freely admit that they're a volume, high danger scoring chance type of team. They generated the most high danger chances at 5-on-5 of anybody in the NHL, not even close, by about a half a chance a game. They were better than the second place team. The gap was like 800 something to 740 something. It's a massive gap. That's how far and away Carolina generates more chances than any other team at 5-on-5. Their shooting percentage, though, is 31st on those chances, 31st in the league. And it kind of levels it out. So Carolina is like 12th in the league at high danger goals at 5-on-5. On top of that, the power play's just been kind of mid all year long. And yet with all of that, they finished with the second most points in the league. And it's because of the style that they play. And their style is conducive to the postseason. Their style is aggressive, bothersome, and if you are not capable coming out of your defensive zone, which is where the Devils spent a lot of time tonight, if you are not capable of escaping Carolina's pressure, I'm not saying it's always going to wear you down, but the odds are increased that you are going to be worn down. And for 2 games, that's what we saw. For 2 games. Couple of things I want to talk about today. Might as well start with the goaltender. We're not going to be here very long tonight. It has been a long night. We'll do a longer one, maybe more involved on Sunday. Freddie Anderson has taken a lot of slings and arrows. And I have had the quiver. I've had the quiver. I've had them out for Freddie Anderson. I was the one that ranked him as Carolina's 3rd best goaltender going into the playoffs. 3rd. It went Antti Raanta 1, a goaltender who has yet to be born or drafted 2, I kid, Pyotr Kochetkov 2, and Freddie Anderson 3. I had no faith. The Freddie Anderson we saw, for the most part, in the last month of the season was just sometimes good, but mostly And then Antti Raanta started games 1 through 5 of the Islanders series. Raanta was very good in those games for the most part. There were the odd bad goal here or there, but for the most part, Antti was excellent. Freddie came down with an illness. By the way, Antti Raanta was ill today. Freddie came down with an illness in game 1. Didn't even back up games 1, 2, 3, and 4. It was Pyotr Kochetkov. Then backed up game 5, and then got on the ice and won game 6. And then he wins game 1 here. And here's Freddie's numbers in 3 starts so far in these here playoffs. 3 starts, 3 wins, 0.97 goals against average, .963 save percentage, 78 saves on 81 shots. I mean, up yours, Gold. That's what Freddie's saying. Freddie's like, here, eat my Danish shoes. I couldn't say what I wanted to say. Company policy. So that's how good he's been. And he had to be big tonight. How good is the penalty kill? Oh, how good would you like it to be? Because it is all of that. 22 out of 23 so far in these playoffs, 22 out of 23. And I'm not saying, I don't think Carolina won the game in the first period, but the back-to-back penalties and a little bit of the overlap, which had 23 seconds of 5-on-3, which was enough for the Devils to win a faceoff and have two really good scoring chances, one that Freddie had to make a save on. So the PK went 2 for 2 in the first period, and coming off the back of that, you could sense Carolina getting a little bit of a footing in the game. I thought the first 10 minutes belonged to the New Jersey Devils, and the next 50 belonged to the Carolina Hurricanes. There really wasn't much of a response tonight. What we saw in game one was Carolina play better, have a 2-0 lead after one, get the third goal early, Kotkaniemi, and then the Devils made a goalie switch, and the whole thing flipped until Carolina killed that power play, that Devils power play at 4:26 of the second period, killed that off, grabbed the momentum, and then ran away and hit. That's the way game one went. Tonight, first 10 minutes, maybe it's a little bit of a boost from the penalty kill, although I didn't feel it that way. But in the last 10 minutes of the period, it became a heavy hitting period. Heavy hitting period. Jesperi Kotkaniemi with a massive hit. I want to get it right because I wrote it down. And as I look for it, you guys can talk amongst yourselves. No, I'll get it. I'll get it right here. Hold on. Apologize for doing that. Let's see. I'm trying to see who was it. Oh, first behind the net, Jesper Fast on Ryan Graves. Graves, I don't believe, played the third period. He left the ice at the end of the first period. And then Kotkaniemi on Nico Hischier. Woo, that was vicious. And that was just kind of a sign of things to come. Carolina laid some lumber out there tonight. And you can do that to the Devils. Carolina was just matched up against the Islanders, the more physical team that tried to bully Carolina because they couldn't play with them. They couldn't skate with them. Well, Carolina can skate with the Devils. Devils are a better skating team, but I think Carolina can skate with them. But I think Carolina is putting, as our friend Michael Leboff from the Action Network and the Islanders Anxiety Podcast has said, I think the Hurricanes were putting water in the basement the last couple of games. They were physical enough. Martinook was physical tonight. Jesper Fast was physical tonight. Jesperi Kotkaniemi was physical tonight. That line was very, very good. Kotkaniemi had one of his better games. I thought Seth Jarvis played the best game I had ever seen him play in game one. I don't know that this was the best game I've ever seen from Kotkaniemi, but I thought for 40 minutes, he was pretty spectacular. The physical play, the defensive play, winning faceoffs, scoring goals. All of that. Scoring goals. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, let's see here. Do we want to go through I'm not going to go, well, I'll go through a couple of the goals quickly because I think they're worth doing it. No score after one. Second period, Carolina has a power play that drags over from the first period. Again, the second half of the period, man, Carolina really took the game over. And as it turned out, drawing that penalty, sometimes you don't like a penalty right when you come out because you're just cold out of the locker room. And the top unit was not awesome tonight. The power play was much better in game one than it was tonight. But tonight it scored. Go figure. But really good work by the second unit late in the power play. Remember, you only had about a minute 56 and change left, and they scored at 1:35. So there's only 21 seconds roughly left in the power play when they scored. But this is a good play, good physical battle won by Puljujarvi and Drury along the left half wall. Drury backhands the puck loose and gets it back to Shane Gostisbehere. He swings it across to Kotkaniemi at the right point, who just drifted in because the Devils were like, hey, would you like to drift in with the puck and then shoot it at our goalie? And Jesperi Kotkaniemi said, why? I would love that. Thank you. And so he did that. So 1-0 Hurricanes. The second goal, this was simply hard work. Martinook and Fost. First, it was the Martinook winning a physical battle with Dougie Hamilton, not probably just below the right faceoff dot. The puck is in deep. Fost gets there, and now it's Fost and Martinook against Hamilton and Jonas Siegenthaler. Hurricanes won that battle. Puck comes to Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who wins his own battle with Jesper Bratt, I believe. And lo and behold, Hurricanes get a second goal. That was an incredible start to the second period. Then it kind of leveled off in terms of there was good play both ways. I don't think Carolina was super dominant in the middle of the period, but boy, in the last 6 minutes, they cranked it up again. And the way they dominated the end of the second period, it gets them the Jordan Staal goal, which was a great pass out by, not out, but by Jack Drury, who had the puck just inside the blue line, and he fed Jordan Staal across, and then backhand, forehand, backhand goal. Tremendous breakaway goal. Sebastian, I was sitting around going, why can't I do that? Well, how come the goalie's always saving my shots? Film. Go watch film, Sebastian. So Jordan Staal makes it 3-0. And then some gong show of a play at the end of the period with 16 seconds left. Martin Necas scores. It was Keystone Cops. It was so crazy. So Necas actually starts the play coming out of the zone. He starts the play coming out of the zone. Somebody might have given him the puck, but he's exiting the defensive zone with the puck. And he sees Slavin streaking out, and he passes it up. I think it was a pretty good pass, but Slavin just couldn't. As a matter of fact, I think he made a comment on press row, first touch. And Slavin just couldn't couldn't have the puck stick to his stick. So he kind of deflects it forward. Out comes Schmidt to get the puck, and he beats Slavin to it, but he doesn't knock it far enough away from Slavin. So Jacob chases after the puck, gets it, and with an empty net. I mean, Schmidt is down. He is nowhere near the goal. Slavin, from an impossibly sharp angle, hits the far post, but kind of the inside of the far post, and it bounces straight out into the slot. Gostisbehere slides it over to Necas. It wasn't maybe directly straight out, but just drifted over a few feet towards the right faceoff circle. Gostisbehere gets it to Necas in the slot, and he tries to one-time it and whiffs it. But because Schmidt had to come back over and scramble, he kind of slides not out of the picture, but he slides off his, where he's supposed to be square. And Necas' second attempt, he didn't even have to do much with it. He just had to punch it on net. And Carolina suddenly has a 4-0 lead and it's 2 late second period goals. It was just incredible. Then Carolina, a little sleepy moment by Shane Gostisbehere, allows a Miles Wood goal. But then Martinook pounces on a very lazy cross-ice pass. He goes the other way. Goalie change, by the way, to start the third period, Vitek Vanacek. And I will be stunned if Vanacek does not start. Stunned if he does not start Game 3 in New Jersey. I will be floored. A, he has had some success against Carolina, but B, I think Schmidt turned back into a pumpkin after the first round of the playoffs. He was so good in the first round, but I do believe the clock has struck midnight. In fact, it's 12:08. So Martinook makes it 5-1, and then the prettiest goal of the night, if it wasn't the Staal backhand, forehand, backhand, was Seth Jarvis chipping the puck forward to Aho from the defensive zone into the neutral zone. Sebastian brings it in 2-on-1. He's got Stefan Nason backdoor, and he just drops a beautiful saucer pass right to Nason, who just redirects it in, and it's 6-1, and there you go. And that's Carolina's scoring. Absolutely, absolutely incredible. A couple of things that I think are worth looking at here for the Hurricanes. And there's some negatives for the Devils too. I don't want to harp on those, but I will mention them. So the Hurricanes have been incredibly balanced. Sebastian Aho leads them. He's got 9 points, 4 goals, 5 assists. He had 1 assist tonight. He is a +7. Then after that, you got two guys with 6 points. Stefan Nason and Seth Jarvis each have 6 points. Jarvis is a +8. Exactly. Jordan Stahl has 5 points. Brent Burns has 5 points. Jesper Fost has 5 points. Burns is a +7. Stahl is a +6. Fost is a +6. And then 4 points for Brett Pesce, who's got a goal and 3 assists. Jordan Martinook, a goal and 3 assists. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, 3 goals and 1 assist. Martin H is 2 and 2. Those guys are all have 4 points. Jacob Slavin is a +11. It's a +11. Carolina's played 8 games. He's a +11. Jarvis is a +8. Burns, Aho, +7. Stahl, Martinook, Fost, all +6. On the other side for the Devils, Dougie Hamilton is a -5. Andre Palat has had a tough go in this series, -6. Well, let's keep in mind, the Stahl line, for the most part, has been on the Palat, Hughes, Haula line. Hall has generally been playing center. And the Stahl line has dominated it with Natchez and Drury. And when it wasn't Stahl on it, it was Kotkaniemi and Fost and Natchez. Especially at home, but I think by splitting the two up, Rod's got a good chance to have the same matchup he wants against Jack Hughes and company. And on top of that, he's got 3 options because last I checked, Aho and Jarvis were excellent defensively and they can do the work. But you don't want to do that to your best scoring line. And I guess I would assume we're going to see Aho and Nico Hischier go at it again for the most part. But man, Aho's been outstanding in this series. And if your best players are playing well and they're productive enough, you got a chance. You have an absolute chance to win. But again, I will stress this, and then we'll just roll through some questions here. Nothing has been accomplished. 0 has been accomplished. What is the cliche? Series doesn't start until the home team loses. Home team hasn't lost yet. All they've done is hold serve. All right, let's go through some. There's a lot of you on here tonight. Let's go Canes. Yes, Charlie, I agree. Let's see. Late night Caniacs in the house. Canes just look better and better. Yeah, they do. Guttural Darkness, is that really a name? What? All right, our friend from Australia. Afternoon from Australia. You legend. Thank you. I appreciate that. With Ronta sick and Sunday being an early game, any chance we see Kochetkov on Sunday? Well, I wouldn't say that anything is impossible, but I will pose the question to you because I asked myself this question because I knew it would come up. If I were the head coach, who would I start in game 4? I would start the guy who just made 29 saves. It's not a back-to-back. I thought unless Freddie demanded the net, I thought he would go to Ronta. If Ronta is healthy, I don't think it's a bad move. But number 31 has just done 3 games in a row what you brought him here to do 2 summers ago. So until further notice, I think as long as he plays the way he's playing, Freddie's going to play. Just like it was basically the same way with Ronta. If Ronta had played at this level, it didn't play at that level in game 5. It wasn't bad in game 5, but he didn't play at that level. It was an easy one to get Freddie in because Freddie needed to play. I think we're going to see Ronta start some games maybe in this series. I think we're going to see Ronta play again. Hopefully it'll be in the next series against Florida or Toronto. No idea. It'll be one of them. Anyway, I would start Freddie. I see no reason to not start Freddie Anderson, unless there's an injury that we don't know about, and let's hope that there are none. Let's City. Let's City. These first two losses by the Devils feel different than when they lost to the Rangers. 11 goals different, right? I mean, Carolina has scored 11 goals. That's always going to feel differently when you pump a bunch of goals in the net. So I get it. I agree. They do. It does feel differently, but it still doesn't matter. And that's the point I will always drive home. Drive home, not dry home. Maybe I will dry at home. What happened, historically speaking, does not have any impact on anything else. Yeah, I mean, I think we could all look, and if you wanted to look at it in a practical matter, the Devils have to win 4 out of 5 against the Hurricanes to advance. Is that unlikely? I mean, I don't think it's crazy, but the chances of it happening aren't as good as the chances of Carolina winning 2 of 5. I mean, Carolina's an outstanding team, clearly playing well. So, and by the way, as we have seen before, the Hurricane at Game 5 against the Islanders in New York, Hurricanes played one of their best games in the series and lost. Could happen. Devils are better than the Islanders. You make mistakes with the Devils. We talked about it in the pregame show. Little details. And when you make a mistake, you're likely going to pay for it. So maybe not with a goal, although it did happen tonight, but with a great scoring chance. I loved Carolina's game tonight. They were very, very buttoned up. Very cool. Let's don't bench a guy. Jarrett's got it right. Jarrett Campbell's got it right. Let's don't bench a guy with a 95. It's a .963 save percentage. So is it probable the Canes earn at least a split in New Jersey? Probable? I don't know. Possible. I wouldn't say it's probable. I would say it's possible. Again, Carolina could easily lose those 2 games. The Devils are no joke. They just aren't. They have not. It's been mostly because of Carolina, but they have not had the game the way they want it yet. Carolina's been too good in the neutral zone. There has been no room to skate. We have seen zero through 120 minutes of hockey. 0 Jack Hughes moments. None. The only excitement really when the Devils have had the puck is when Eric Hall has had it and the arena crowd boos him, which, I mean, I got no problem with booing Eric Hall. It's just natural. If I were Eric Hall, I would take that as a compliment. Even before the goal, this is another one from Jarrett. Martinook was great tonight. Foss was great tonight. Stahl was great tonight. Drury was great tonight. Look, there wasn't anybody that didn't play well. I mean, clearly some players played better than others, but I mean, I thought everybody on defense was great. We saw the best of Jalen Chatfield's skating ability tonight and tenacity. Look, I'm not going to complain about officials' calls. Jalen Chatfield took a penalty. He did what he had to do. When Curtis Lazar whacks your goalie's glove with his stick, you're going to pounce on him. And that's what they did. They pounced on him. So I got no problem at all with that. Let's see if we get a few more questions. There's a lot of you on here. So thank you for that. I don't feel like I'm talking to myself, even though I actually am talking to myself. Let's see. Most of this is comments, and that's fine. That's really what it's for. I'm just trying to see if there are questions here. Let's see. Go to bed. You have to be on. Oh, Tim. Yeah, I don't know if Tim is part of the show tomorrow or if Tim just knows. I guess it's been tweeted out, probably. Tim Wilson, go to bed. You have to be on Sirius XM at 11:30 in the morning. Yes, I'm going on with the guys from the fourth period tomorrow. Thank you, Tim. Gosh, that was a good laugh. All right, with that said, it was a fun night here at PNC Arena. The crowd was great. The team was great. And hopefully they can do that 2 more times and get to a conference final again for the first time in I guess 5 years. 19 conference final. Haven't been back that far since. And I'll just make this one editorial comment because it has been posed that anything less than that would feel like this team has stagnated. And I will push back on that. I don't think they have. The Carolina Hurricanes are not quite as a group. Now, with their full complement, I would not be saying this, but you look at the team that they have got right now on the ice. You look at their roster next to the team they're playing right now in the Devils, or whoever they played whoever they might play if they win this series in the conference finals, Florida or Toronto, and you go, well, it's going to be hard to win this series. But the style with which they play, their blue line, which is the best blue line left in the East, maybe the best blue line left in this sport, with Colorado no longer dancing. I think Vegas has something to say about that. But they can beat anybody. But I don't feel like they've stagnated. I feel like this was a couple of bad breaks. And maybe they hang around long enough to get Teuvo Teravainen back. But I think that it's worth kind of just being proud of how they've done this. And I'm not trying to make them out to be like a Division II team. They're not void of talent, or devoid of talent, I guess I was trying to say. Gosh, it's late. So that's it. I'm done, at least for now, with kind of singing their praises. But I think it would be a tremendous accomplishment to be playing 3 rounds of playoff hockey. And if you get that far, you can win that series because you're just playing well. Penalty kill continues to play the way it's going. Get good goaltending. You don't need elite goaltending. You just need good goaltending. Penalty kill's doing that. You get some guys just to find a couple of goals here and there. Should be okay. And with that said, we're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. On Hamlin Road in Durham, there is no place like it. Sammy Hanna's crew do a great job. Go check them out online, aluminumcompany.com. Follow the Canes Corner podcast wherever you get your podcast. It's there when you wake up every morning, or however you get your podcast. Maybe you don't wake up in the morning. Maybe you sleep in the morning and you wake up in the evening. I don't know your life. But subscribe to it, follow it, smash like buttons, caress whatever you need to caress. And we'll see you after Sunday's game. Remember, it's an afternoon game, but I guess you know that. I don't know what time it is in Australia. 3:30 start, depending on, let's just say you're on the east coast of Australia, 7:30 in the morning the next day. Right? I think so. So it'll be Monday morning at 7:30 in Australia if you're on the east coast of Australia. If you're over in Perth, I'm not even sure that it's the same week. Bye, everyone. It's been a blast. 6-1, 2-0 lead in the series.